Hi, Becca.
Hi, Shelby.
Hi, take a seat wherever you'd like.
Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. So, before we get started today, I want to talk to you a little bit about confidentiality.
Okay.
Now, what does confidentiality mean to you?
That everything stays between us two and nothing gets told to anyone else.
Okay, so could you tell me an example of why I would have to branch out?
Yeah, I guess you would have to branch out if I put myself into danger, committed suicide, or anything like that.
Yeah, so if we were talking and you had discussed with me that you believe that you or someone else could be in harm, that's when I would have to branch out and then talk to someone else about it.
Okay.
Okay, so what brought you in today?
Well, I've been having really anxiety about school and going into classrooms, taking tests, doing all that stuff.
Okay, so is there anything specific about school that makes you really worried?
I guess what makes me really worried about school would be like failing my class or something.
Okay. If you don't mind me asking, how are your grades right now?
They're good, like 70s or 80s around there.
So that seems really good to me.
Yeah.
What do you think it is that makes you so worried that you're gonna fail?
I'm scared if I fail that I won't be able to like become a teacher or become someone that makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so a teacher is what you want to be.
I'd love to be a teacher. Yeah.
What you had mentioned tests.
Mhm.
What about tests makes you really stressed out? Is it that you are worried about how to take them, how to prepare yourself? Is it actually sitting down and writing the test? Is it thinking about what's going to come after the test?
So in test taking for me is really like scary. It's like the initial before part, like before getting into the room to write it. Like I'm scared I'm gonna lose my thinking and like all the knowledge I've just studied. I feel like everything's just gonna escape me and then I'm gonna forget everything.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What would you think would be a way to help you get over your test anxiety?
I guess getting over my test anxiety would just be telling myself that I'm okay and that I can do this, and maybe tell myself that what I've studied is going to be on it and that I'm fine if I know the information beforehand. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. Now, I think one way that you could definitely help yourself is, which you've already stated, that you would have to just remind yourself that
Yeah.
it's okay. What are your study methods like?
So I usually take a week to study for something. I first lay out all the information and then I like write it in my own words just so that I can grasp the study, and then I can then learn different mechanisms and different techniques. I usually make cue cards for definitions just so that I'm seeing the word and then I'm saying it out loud to tell me what that definition is. And then I just read the text and try and figure it all out.
So that seems like a pretty amazing way to study for something. Now going back to school in general,
Yeah.
what is it about school, would you say, that gives you the most anxiety besides taking the test?
I think going into school gives me the most anxiety, besides tests, would be being alone. I find it very hard to go to school and not have someone there in every single class that I know and that I feel comfortable sitting with. Like, it just kind of feel isolated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's definitely something that a lot of people deal with, especially being in college where all your classes are kind of split up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for your school, are you in certain sections, or are all your classes completely new people?
They're all new, different people. Like, I have some people that are, like, taking the same things as me, so they kind of repeat in different classes. However, every different class has someone different, and, yeah, so it just feels like I can't really get to know these people just because every class is different and every single day. So, yeah.
Yeah, that would definitely be something that would be challenging to go to school. Would you say that you prefer to work in groups? Or do you prefer being on your own, or would you rather have a core group of friends?
In school, like in high school, I hated group work. I really despised it. However, transitioning into this new learning environment, I kind of find group work in the classroom better, just because I get to know people and get to meet people, because it's kind of hard to get to know a core group of friends when you're just sitting in class, listening to the professor speak, and then just being there. So I do like individual work when it comes to handing in assignments. However, when we have different groups where we break up in the classroom, I really like that because you get to know people and who's in your class.
So, in your classes, would you say that it's all about making your own groups, like when you do group work, or would you say that the teacher kind of creates it so you get to meet new people?
Yeah, that's what is also kind of tricky, because finding groups is like you have to find people that you know. So that kind of gives me anxiety, because it's like I know no one, so I'm sitting behind by myself hoping that someone asks me into a group. So that would be another trigger for me, and like being isolated.
Yeah, I find that would be pretty difficult, especially being within your age group. Now, when you go off to lunch, do you have a group of friends that you go to sit with, or is it just fully isolated?
To be honest with you, I come home by myself for lunch, and then if I have another class afterwards, I go back out there, just because, like, I don't want to be sitting in the lunchroom or sitting in the caf with no one, so I'd rather just come home, take a little break from school, and then go back. So I think that's another hard thing for me, is to break outside of my shell and break outside of my comfort zone to go out and meet people. Yeah.
Would you think that you had mentioned you have some friends in some classes. Do you think that if before a break, staying with that group of friends and going maybe to lunch with them, do you think that would be beneficial to you?
I think that actually would be very beneficial, just because then we would have like classroom setting together, but then we'd also have friendship outside of school instead of just keeping friends within the classroom.
Yeah, and I think that maybe for you, it could help because they could know people in your other classes, and it could definitely bring you guys all together.
Yeah.
So that's one way you could look at it, and one way that you could definitely try to expand your friend group so you're not feeling as isolated all the time. Is there anything else you would say that makes you have anxiety about school?
I really hate presenting. I hate getting in front of people and standing up there and just being telling things that I have learned. I don't like relaying all my information because I am a very to myself person. So when you stand up and what could be hundreds or could be 30 kids in your class, it's kind of hard just to have everyone looking at me, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So growing up and doing presentations, did anyone ever teach you any tricks or any way that they thought was helpful to make going up and presenting not as hard?
Yeah, actually someone told me that to find a way to get through the presenting, look at one person you know and just keep your eyes on them the whole time, because it's like me talking to you now. I feel comfortable talking to you, so if I look to someone, then I'll be able to get my idea across just like I'm at my house. It's just kind of hard when you see everyone else also looking at you.
Is that something that you have done in the past and have done recently, just looking at that one individual?
Yeah, I have done it. It's just then I start, other anxieties come up, and I'm okay, well, are they going to notice that I'm just looking at one person and not looking at the whole classroom? So that's kind of where I'm oh, professors might see I'm just finding one person. So, and I'm do I have to look at more? Am I doing this okay, you know? Yeah.
What are some other ways that you think you would be able to present? would you think it would be better if the whole class was turned around and not looking at you? Would it be more beneficial to you if you were just kind of gazing above their heads rather than looking at someone dead in the eye?
Yeah, that might actually be better if I like look above, because then it's like, oh, that's okay. That's like I'm scanning the room, that I'm not like just looking at one person, and then it also gets me kind of like, okay, it's okay. Like if I'm in that classroom every single day, then I know there's like a home feeling to it, right? Like I know where I am, so if I looked at the classroom, it kind of would bring me back and be like, this is okay atmosphere, I can talk to them. I think what would be really beneficial though would be like just having me and the professor talk, just because then I don't have 1,000 people looking at me.
What do you think it is that worries you so much about presenting in front of a class? Are you afraid they're going to make fun of you? Do you think that it's because it's for marks and because you're being, the teacher's like expecting so much? Or is there something
having
else?
Like, let's say an 80 in the classroom, it's kind of hard, like, okay, I'm getting up there, I'm presenting, doing something I'm very uncomfortable, feel like, is this going to drop my mark 10% or like more than that, you know? Because presenting, I find, is actually worth a lot in every classroom. So I find that if I'm up there, make a mistake, I don't only have the professor grading me, but I also have all my peers, or not friends, looking at me and seeing who I am as a person and how intelligent I am. So it kind of scares me that way.
Yeah. So you're talking a lot about your grades. And we haven't necessarily discussed it yet, but I think for you getting good grades, I think that also worries you about, you had also previously said about failing. I think that's kind of what everything's revolving around. With failing, what do you think the worst case scenario would be regarding it?
I feel like the worst case scenario would be I'd be kicked out of my program. I would be told I could no longer be a teacher. I could no longer be going to that school, and I would have to restart my whole life, and what I've already accomplished would be gone.
Yeah. Saying that, do you think that, have you ever considered anything else other than being a teacher?
I haven't.
So,
I've known since JK what I wanted to be, so yeah, it's kind of hard. That's why it's a fear of mine to not, like, have something I want to be, like a goal, and then if that goal's taken away, something hard.
From listening to you and listening to how you are doing pretty well in school, and I think that you're on the right track, and I personally think, I know it's a lot easier said than done, but I personally think that you're going to be okay, and I feel as though sometimes we need that reassurance from other people, that just to know that we are going to be okay.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anything else regarding the anxiety that you think is hard for you?
Think about it, I have no idea. I feel like anxiety also triggers me. I have a sick mom, so I think like that's a trigger of mine, that she will one day be in the hospital and I'll have to carry on without her. So that scares me a lot.
Yeah, and that could be really scary. Would you say that you've grown up with anxiety?
Yeah, my mom says that she didn't know this, but like looking back on my whole school, she says since she walked into a J. Clay classroom, I've had a trigger of anxiety, because I just don't like the pressure and the intensity different situations bring me in.
Yeah. So you would say that, saying all this, you don't think you would work well in like stressful situations?
No. Not at all. Stressful situations are not my go-to.
Okay, well, I think we're going to end it for today.
Okay.
I just wanted to really thank you for coming in. And I think what I will do is I can set up for next time that we meet. We can make a date, and then I can bring in some resources that I think would definitely help you out a little bit, especially with your school anxiety, and maybe just your anxiety overall. How does
that sounds great. I would love that, to take things and apply them into my daily life. So thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. All right. We'll see you next time.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.